Starting to believe, baby. I'm starting to believe the New York Knicks defeat the Denver Nuggets 122 to 112. Let's go to the box score. Jalen Brunson, 30 points, 15 assists. OG Anunoby's back, baby. 23 points with 5 threes. Josh Hart doing Josh Hart things. Jamal Murray, 33 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Nikola Jokic missed the whole freaking first half, basically had 17, 6, and 6. And Russell Westbrook had 14 and 14 with 4 assists. Kwab, it was a weird game. It was a weird game because Jokic picked up his second foul in like the first 2 minutes of the game.
It was early.
Exited it out. And, to me, the Knicks, they ended up building like a very quick like double-digit lead right when Jokic went out. And I'm thinking, they might run away with this before Jokic could come back. Mike Malone might have to put him back in with 2 fouls in the first quarter. But credit to Denver. They clawed back. The Knicks went cold, started taking stupid shots. The bench didn't do a good job, and they were able to tread water until Jokic came back. Jokic came back. I think they were down 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I mean, they even tied the game at some point. Like a minute or two before Jokic came in, they were tied. So they did their job. But overall, man, I think the theme and the point that I want to make from this game is the Knicks defense, man, it looks like it's coming back. It's not there yet. I mean, you see it in times where they're getting steals, they're turning the ball over. Mikal Bridges is doing a better job on the pick and roll, and they're getting out and running the basketball. The Knicks have one of the slowest paces in the league, and I know their offense is not something that Knicks fans are complaining about this year. It's not something I'm complaining about this year, but I still like this version better of like getting a steal, forcing a turnover, forcing a bad pass. Let's get out, let's run the basketball, and let's finish on the break. This has been my favorite version of the Knicks team that I've seen so far this year. Now, they're far from perfect. They got off to a absurdly slow start in the second half. Horrible defensive start. Honestly, if Jamal Murray doesn't take that clear path foul, I don't know where this game goes because Murray has to sit, and he had the hot hand, and that allowed the Knicks to come back a little bit. And Jalen Brunson just basically took the game over and said, get on my back. I got you. In the third quarter, he single-handedly brought the Knicks back. And in the fourth quarter, when all things were even, the Knicks went back to playing fantastic defense. Mikal Bridges, great on the pick and roll, applying pressure on Jamal Murray. I thought Precious Achiuwa was good switching in different situations. And Cat, even though I don't think he was good for most of the game, in the last 5 minutes of the game, I thought he played really good defense, and they were able to take it home. But as a Knicks fan, I think for the first time all season, I'm really confident in the fact that, like, all right, this is a good team. They haven't really put it together yet. I'm not putting them in the contenders list. I don't think they're better than the Cavs. I don't think they're better than the Celtics right now. But I do think you see the vision. Like, you can see what everybody sees or what Leon Rose saw when he built this team. And that's a team that's going to turn you over. That's a team that's going to get out and run. That's a team that's going to hit three-pointers. And that's a team that's going to get stops late in games. And so for me, this is a really good victory. And being on a 5-game winning streak, I'm really happy with this team so far. Let me say so far. Right now, I'm happy with this team. We'll see where it goes, though. They'll lose to the Wizards in like 2 weeks, and I'm going to be depressed.
I think throughout the course of this 5-game winning streak, the one thing that's been evident is that Tibbs has been playing your bench more. So this kind of has helped the starter minutes. Like, I don't think any closest was like, I think OG got to like 39 minutes, and a couple of weeks ago that would have been like 57 minutes. I'm exaggerating.
No, you're not exaggerating. 57's correct.
I'm exaggerating.
57's correct.
I know some Knicks fans are like, oh, people are the minutes police. I just think like it helps factor in if late in games your starters are rested and they have their legs. I feel like it makes a difference. Like you said before, Jokic barely played in the first half, and you guys started to like build a lead, but then you show, to me, I've been saying it all year, the Knicks are inconsistent, and this game was like a highlight of that. Like, you had the moment where like Jalen Brunson going off in that third quarter, or even the fourth quarter where you guys were making runs, or even the first quarter when OG was running out, getting a couple of dunks. He was actually consistent the whole game, hitting threes from the corners and stuff. But then you have these moments of just, what are y'all doing basketball? Like, so many moments.
The first half of the third quarter was pathetic. Pathetic.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it happens way too often where you're just like, what are y'all doing? Like, what is happening? And like you said, Denver was able to stay in the game without Jokic, which that's to me. I was like, okay, you guys might be in trouble if Denver is able to sustain and then Jokic can come back in and play well. And it was kind of trending that way until Murray got out. Like I don't know how much of a lead Denver was able to build at one
I think
point.
Denver was up 6.
Yeah,
And then they had to take foul, free throw, come back, and
which
then the game flipped from there.
if you from if you take a step back and look from perspective for being up 6, ending up being up 6 after Jokic played like 4 minutes
They went up 8 at one point.
Yeah.
I think 8 was the most. Yeah.
in the half. That's impressive. That's impressive. So and also that's also like a highlight of like Knicks. That's like you guys are inconsistent. Again, we've said it a billion times. It's gonna take a while for you guys to get to that point of like contender that you as a fan want to see and as a team they want to be at. But there were a lot of positives this game, like OG playing well. Mikal played well on defense, even hit some shots. Josh Hart was Josh Hart. You know what I mean? In Towns, I know it looks like he's affected by the injury a little bit, the finger injury, but the play he had when he blocked Westbrook and it led to the pass to Mikal, that was a dope play. That was a big play. I think what's been very understated this year is Jalen Brunson's playmaking has been really good this year. I know everybody, like, we talk about his scoring and how tough he is inside as a guard, but like some of the passes and the reads he's been making all year have been like fantastic. Sometimes it doesn't lead to buckets, but he's been playing really well in the playmaking aspect. But yeah, it was a cool game, I guess. You know,
It was a good win.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
a
look,
good
there's a
win.
lot to be desired,
Yeah.
but as a Knick fan, I watched the team and it felt like, even though like there are things like I could point to, right? I think at times, especially in the second half, their shot selection was just like
Yeah.
one pass and a contested 3. A Campaign took a 3 that was just like
Why?
100%
What?
vibes.
Like,
it
what?
was like I got the rebound. I hear the guarding going, oh,
gotta
someone
pull.
launch it from 30 and hit the side of the backboard. So like there are some shots they take that are just like, are you doing? Run offense. If you run offense, you're fine. So there are a lot of things left to be desired, but for the first time, I think all season, I feel like I know who this Knicks team is.
Okay.
It always felt like they were trying, even when their offense was great, it always just seemed like they were trying to figure out what their identity was. I think people were trying to figure out what their roles were. Mikal was struggling on defense, and the reason why we got him, a big reason, it's to spread the floor and hit the 3, but we want you to play defense and be our main defender on the pick and roll, especially point of attack defender, and he wasn't doing that. No. He's doing that now. OG's now hitting the 3. He's getting steals. Cat, like I said, he's trying, but in situations where we need someone to be more versatile and switch, Precious is now coming along and he's playing better. Yeah. Everybody seems to know their roles now. It doesn't seem like anybody's like kind of confused on what's going on, what they should be doing. I love the fact they're getting out and running. That's something that I wish they did more of, and I think that should be a huge part of their identity because, A, it's fun to watch, and B, I think it's the best version of them. They scored 143 points 2 straight games, 122 today. That's the most points they've scored in a 3-game span in franchise history.
Which is
unbelievable.
Dope. But like for that to happen, the defense has to be on point. So
and that's the thing. That's about the defense. Again, start of the second half horrible, but for the most part, for most of the game, for like 90% of the game, the defense was great today.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're gonna need to take some steps forward, but overall, I'm happy with what I saw.
No.
You know, as far as the Nuggets are concerned, it's kind of weird if you're a Nugget fan, right? It's kind of like, damn, like I don't even know what would have happened if Jokic didn't get a foul trouble. It's one of those things where you're kind of like clawing from behind, and you don't really, you can't really get your footing. And then when you get your footing, Jamal Murray commits a stupid foul. Now he has to go to the bench. You didn't really have your lineup. Lineups that you wanted the whole time. Aaron Gordon gets inserted to the starting lineup for the first time since
I was confused about it because I think this is the first time.
Mike Malone basically said he didn't want to. He inserted Russell Westbrook into the starting lineup, and they started playing well and started taking off, and he didn't want to mess with a good thing.
Yeah.
And Aaron Gordon even said himself, he's like, listen, I can come off the bench. It's not a big deal. So they kind of stayed with it. But I do think endgame, Malone thinks that their best chances to win a championship and to maximize your team, you bring Brown off the bench, Aaron Gordon starts, and I think they started to do that today. But the thing is, it's like you started it today, and then
this happens.
Jokic goes out. So you don't even get a chance to even experiment with, that rotation.
Yeah.
So on one hand, like, I'm not saying I feel bad for the Nuggets. You don't feel bad for a team you just beat. But I get, if I'm a Nugget fan, the frustration of like, okay, Gordon's in a lineup. Let's see how this goes. Jokic gets 2 fouls immediately, and all of a sudden the game plan has to change immediately.
Yeah.
And I think by the time they adjusted to the game plan, and by the time they adjusted to everything and everything felt normal, Jamal Murray commits a stupid foul, and then it's back to
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
you know, and then Jokic has to play the whole second half.
yeah.
And I thought he played well. He played okay,
Yeah.
but he wasn't. You know,
It wasn't a
you know,
typical Jokic game where you're like,
it wasn't at all.
At all.
I mean, the stat line says it, but also like he had some moments in the second half, but he didn't really control the game like we're used to seeing. And a lot of that was Knicks defense, man. I thought Mikal was good, you know, in pick and roll situations. I thought Precious did a pretty good job for the most part when they were doing dribble handoffs and pick and rolls with Jamal Murray. And yeah, but also say about Jokic, he was terrible on defense today. And I don't know if it's because he caught his second foul, but he was awful at the rim.
I mean,
the Knicks got
after
whatever
he
they
caught
wanted.
that, he was kind of playing back, like he was
Yeah.
trying not to. So I don't want to say that probably factored into it, but I mean, a lot of people rag on his defense anyway. But there are times I've watched him, like he's not as bad of a defender as he's made out to be.
He can be good sometimes. When they won the championship, that playoff run, he was a good defender. He wasn't great, but he was decent.
Yeah, but like people
sure.
kind of like they try to highlight him as like one of the worst defenders. And I'm like, that's not the case.
No.
That's not the case at all. I was gonna say this with the Nuggets bench, like Christian Brown coming off the bench, he played well. As a Nets fan, I don't ever want to see DeAndre Jordan play basketball. I just don't. It's just personal.
Bro, when he was with the Knicks, I'm like, this is his last season. That was like 7 seasons ago. So shout out to him for like finding a role on the team.
Yeah, cool, man. I don't want to see it. That's all right. Like if you're a Cavs fan that follows this page, you know why I don't want to see DeAndre Jordan, because we chose DeAndre Jordan over Jared Allen. Like that's I don't.
Yeah.
But
They didn't choose; they were told.
no, I'm not even gonna get into it.
They were told.
No,
Like, we don't have to get into it.
yeah, but again, we've been talking about Denver in previous episodes and such, and we're like, they might need to make a move, to kind of shore up their team to feel like more of like a championship contender. I mean, I think through the course of this year, the young players have been able to step up and play well for them. Like Peyton Watson has had moments throughout the course of the year. Julian Strawther has had moments throughout the course of the year. So, I mean, they've had the opportunity to play more because of how the team is constructed now. But it feels like they need to do something. And I don't know if Nuggets fans, if there are any Nuggets fans in the comments, let us know what you think your team needs to do in order to turn the corner, I guess. I don't know.
They need to get better defensively, and they need to shoot more threes. That's my opinion. They don't shoot a lot of threes, and I think they're ranked 17th. Quote me if I'm wrong, Nuggets fans. I mean, it changes, and it depends on what you're looking at. I think they're ranked like 17th on defense, which is not going to get the job done if you're going to win a championship, especially if your offense. It's good. It's actually really good, but it's not the best in the league. And you don't shoot enough threes in a league where you can get outmathed on any given day. So for me, how do you do that? You get out of the 3 and D, right? You get somebody who shoot threes. You get somebody who can play D. I don't know who that would be, Cam Johnson, but I think they can find somebody, Cam Johnson, who can fit their team perfectly. Cam Johnson.
For whom?
And someone honestly, yeah. So I was gonna say Luke Kennard, but the Grizzlies are not gonna look Luke Kennard, but someone like that who was been rumored to be in trade discussions. But there's no world where like Luke Kennard goes to Denver because they're right.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's just no way. But someone like that, that's my opinion. So we'll see. Kwab, I want to close. I want to ask you, am I flying too close to this?
Yeah, man. Like, relax, bro. Like, I ain't gonna let you finish. Relax, bro. Like, there's video evidence of you talking about how this Knicks team has been disappointing you all season. Like, there's multiple clips. People, you can go back and check. So relax. After one game, like, oh man, I think they might.
It's not one game. It's one game that we reviewed. They've won 5 in a row, and they
after one game that we finally recorded watching the Knicks. You're on here like, oh man, I think they might have done it, man. They might be.
No, I don't think they have done. I think they know themselves now, and I think they're turning a corner. I don't think they've turned the corner. I think it's like, oh, this team has an identity. They're getting back to playing defense. Now we're going to see them start to peak, hopefully, I think.
The North,
I don't
the
know.
North remembers the Thunder Knicks game. The North remembers the Thunder Knicks review we did after the game. It remembers. Okay, it's on file. That's all I'm gonna say, brother.
All right, the Knicks beat the Nuggets 122 to 112. Kwab and I will be back tomorrow to recap Rockets Grizzlies. Rockets fans, I mean, your schedule has been like insane, and absurdly entertaining. We're gonna recap the Rockets Grizzlies for the third time
It might be the
in
third
like
time.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys are the second and third seeds in the conference. We have to. We have no other choice. And honestly, I'm happy about it. I like watching the Rockets. They're fun.
yeah. Fun team. So tune in.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. And also stay tuned for more shows. I'm going to try to get Kwab to recap the Knicks-Lakers on Saturday. We'll see. And let us know what other games you would like us to recap. Definitely want to get in, playoff teams, anybody who's like threatening to be a contender, anyone who's on a fridge contender, playoff type matchups. Those are the things that we're looking to review. If you want, you can follow The Dime on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Dime NBA. I'm Josh Rodriguez at Josh_Rodriguez_. He's Kwab at Kwab, a.k.a. Yes. We'll see you next time for another episode of The Dime. Peace.